Boom! It's me. It's Tuesday. Hey, how you doing? 6 o'clock, Total Schmidt Show. John DiCrosta. He's been here several times before. He's back again. Buckle up. Hey, welcome to the Total Schmidt Show. Whether you're watching on the Lenny Schmidt Comedy Network on YouTube or you're listening on podcast, we have a new intro, new theme song. Let's do this. Hey, tune in every week as I travel the world and I talk to entertainers from all over the world. A lot of writers, a lot of comics, a lot of dancers, a lot of singers, a lot of comics, a lot of producers, a lot of tech people, a lot of comics, a lot of pianists, piano player type people. You know what I'm talking about. Musicians and lots of comics. Every once in a while, we'll throw in a comedy sketch, something like that, some music, some travel stuff. We'll even do a live remote from one or two of the ports that happen to be hanging out at.
That's it. That's the whole show. Then I'm going to record it all and put it on the intraweb. Sometimes. Usually late. Always late. Maybe. I don't know. And weekly? Nah, maybe. Sort of.
Either way, sit back, grab a beer, light a joint, and enjoy this week's episode of Hey, thanks for tuning in to Total Schmidt Show. It's Tuesday at 6 if you're watching on the YouTube. It's Wednesday morning if you're listening on the podcast. Either way, welcome back. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. You're the best. If you're watching the show on YouTube, look above me. You can see the social media information. Please follow us on social media. I am at Mr. Lenny Schmidt on everything. That's at Mr. Lenny Schmidt. Everywhere you go, man. All the platforms. Got your Twitter. I got them all. The Grinder. Whatever. You can find me on all of them at Mr. Lenny Schmidt. You'll find me on there. Check out the social media. Thanks for being here. Also follow us. Like the video, share the video, do all that stuff. Subscribe to the channel, helps me out a bunch. All the information is above my head. There's a ticker also going by. If you don't support the show already financially and you would like to, go to LennySchmidt.com or MrLennySchmidt.com and click on Pay If You Can. There's a whole bunch of options there for you to support the show financially. Helps us out a ton. We don't have any sponsors or anything like that, so I depend on followers and subscribers. Today's John DiCrosta. He's a great friend of mine. I have a blast. I always call John the biggest toddler in the world. I don't know anyone that has more fun than John DiCrosta on a daily basis. He's a great guy, great conversation. Sit back and enjoy my talk. He's a comic, voiceover artist, done a million things. He's done lots of stuff. Anyway, here's my buddy John DiCrosta. What's up, buddy?
How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm great. In fact. The oldest graduated last night, man.
Oh, it was last night?
Yeah.
Wow. Now what?
I don't know.
It's going to work, right?
Yeah, we're done. She's out now. I told her. I gave her yellow pages and pushed her toward the door.
Where'd you find yellow pages?
They're old ones. I mean, they're not current. She's currently applying at Blockbuster.
She's going to get a job at Ponderosa Steakhouse.
She will.
She's going to get a gig at Sambo's.
Yeah, that'll be good for her. Venture, Zare. We're going to cover all the big hitters. If she's
Woolworth
really ahead of the
and
game,
Co.
If she's really ahead of the game, she can get out of that MySpace thing. She can really jump into that. I don't know. She's going to. She was going to go ahead and get her master's, but she's going to take a year. She's got some traveling she's going to do now, dude. She's going to Europe for the summer, and then I got her tickets to New York for the fall. So she's going to start looking for a job right away when she gets back after the traveling. So, but she'll let her go take. She's got a whole month in Europe, so I mean it'll be great.
Where is she going in Europe? Italy, right? She said
she's going to spend some time in Italy, but the main place is going to be Croatia. That's where the family's got a place to live. So they'll spend a couple days around the area, and they'll spend several days in Italy. I think they said northern Italy, but not southern Italy. I think that's what they said. I'm not quite sure, but I think that's the plan. So I'm excited for her. I wanted to go experience some stuff. You know what I mean?
That's great.
She works her ass off, man. The school thing is.
Yeah, and she's never done any of that stuff, has she? She's never been over in Europe.
Not to that extent, no. Not to Europe. No, not at all. All she's done is she went to New York with me for a while. She did a little bit of traveling in the U.S. Nothing, a couple of cruises, when they were kids, but this is nothing. This is a whole month in Europe. It'll be a whole different thing for her. So I'm excited for her to to go check it out.
Great.
Her and her sister. Yeah, it'll be cool, man. I told her like.
Oh, they're going together?
Yeah, they're going with the.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, with the aunt. Yeah, that'll be very cool actually. So. Turn these levels down there a little bit high. Yeah, so they're stacked. They're gonna be gone for all of for July and into part of August, and then they come home. So. Yeah,
It's too bad you couldn't meet them over there on a cruise.
Yeah, that's all right, man. They, I'm looking forward to them doing their own thing for a while. They're real independent, so they like doing that. They like traveling and doing their own thing. So I'm like, all right, yeah, whatever you guys want to do, just have fun. So I'm trying to set up and make sure they're okay, and they got credit cards and emergency money, all that shit. So I think they're going to be good. And the New York thing I just gave her, so she's all excited about that.
That's great.
Yeah, so she's been wanting to go back, so now she's got a whole week to spend with a friend in New York. So, I already bought the tickets, but we'll figure it out. And she wanted to fly in a certain way. she's like, I have to fly into LaGuardia because apparently the best view of the city is from this angle coming in on this flight. So that's what I booked. I booked that flight. I got her business class so she could get, the window seat right away and all that stuff. So she's excited.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a great week. Yeah, I'm really happy, man. She did a winter session. She really busted her ass. She got through quick. And so I'm happy. Plus, dude, I'm happy. I'm home for 2 weeks. Took 2 weeks off to be home, and I've been kind of busy the last few weeks. I'm a little burned out, so I feel great right now. I've been home cooking, just doing stuff, sitting in my chair, little stuff.
Hey, I don't know if you saw, but I can send you the link if you haven't. CVT, the ice cream truck, has gone. What's the word I'm looking for? You can buy CVT in a frozen pouch at Gelson's now.
Oh, get out of here.
That's fucking amazing.
Oh my God, that's really cool. Good for them.
He launched yesterday, and they're already in fucking Forbes magazine. On the first day they launched, they're in Forbes magazine.
Dude, that's pretty.
So you can.
Yeah.
Huge. So I guess what you do is you buy it in the frozen food aisle, like where I'm assuming where you get the ice cream.
Yeah.
And I think you set it out for a couple minutes.
Really?
To let it soften.
And they don't have it by the dog food or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
And then it's in one of those baby pouches, like the babies drink their juice or something out of, not a juice box, but like a pouch with a nozzle, almost like what a runner uses when they're on the run.
Right.
They launched yesterday, so we'll see what happens.
I'll go get one today. I gotta go hit the store right after this, actually. We got people coming over tonight.
Yeah, man. I have a feeling, I don't know. You tell me if I hate to poo-poo on anybody's parade. I wish I'm everything but luck. I mean, I've known the fucking kid since he was 6.
Right.
But I think it might hurt the truck a little. Like, they're like, why do we have to leave the house? I have some in the freezer.
I don't know. I think the truck is such a novelty. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you're...
It's a cool thing.
You're right.
Like, we've done it. We're like, let's walk over to the CVT truck. You know what I mean? On a summer day, it's a nice little walk. You go over there. You get it fresh. Plus, it's going to be better coming fresh out of the truck. I'm sure it's good out of the pouch. But,
I agree.
You can't beat it.
And I don't think he has sprinkles or any of that shit out of the pouch. It's just the ice cream.
Plus, ice cream trucks have never... Dude, they've been around since we were kids. That thing is just... You know what I mean? There's something about an ice cream truck. It's just cool.
I'm anxious to see how it does, how it sells and how it's going to affect the truck business. I'm anxious to see, but they launched yesterday. I'll send you. In fact, I'll send it to you right now. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Well, Forbes will help, like, big time.
Oh, that ain't going to hurt. That's for damn sure.
Right. How long are you home for?
I do the Miracle on Thursday for 5 days. Then I'm home for like a week and a half. And then I do Celebration. Miracle is weird. I thought I was under the assumption Miracle was up in
Alaska.
Yeah. So this is a San Francisco to San Francisco. They go from San Francisco to Ensenada back to San Francisco, and I'm assuming they're going back up to Alaska.
I've done that.
It's a weird cruise.
I've done that one. It's only I've done San Francisco, Ensenada, back to San Francisco. It's like a 5-day or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's a couple of sea days, Ensenada, then back to San Francisco. I did it last year. I did that, and then right after, I think we went up to Alaska. So it bounces
Yeah.
back and forth. So I guess it does a 5-day every once in a while to Ensenada. It's not cool. I like Ensenada. I love Ensenada. So I mean, anytime we go there, I'm happy. I'll do that.
Yeah.
And that particular cruise, I had some friends take it and surprise me. So it was a cool cruise. It was good. Are you doing the 4 or 5 day, or are you doing connecting and doing?
Yeah, that's it. And then I go back to the Celebration. I just got off Celebration.
Okay. Nice.
So, yeah.
Very
let's
cool.
see.
Well, I got the Mardi Gras next week.
I fucking love those ships.
Yeah,
I like the Celebration better than Mardi Gras. That's for sure.
I haven't.
Nothing to.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been on those yet. I haven't done. It's been over a year since I've been on the Mardi Gras, so those are the only XL gigs I do. So I haven't done the Celebration yet either. So I haven't tried it.
The punchliner on the Celebration is so much better than the Mardi Gras. I can't explain it. It's a warmer, cozier room. The Mardi Gras is a little more antiseptic. It's more cut and dry. I think the Celebration, they built it with big puffier chairs. It creates an ambiance of a living room, and they're closer to the stage.
Oh, I like
they're
that.
Definitely close. They're closer to the stage for sure.
Yeah, that's the one thing with the Mardi Gras, they seem so far away.
Yeah, they're definitely closer on Celebration.
Good, that's cool.
Limelight's identical.
Okay. They had that big sound box on the stage right there to the left still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't get away from that.
Okay.
And the curtain. The stupid curtain.
Right. Yeah, all right.
Hey, double pay is double pay.
No. It's not bad. It's good.
Right?
Hey, I started recording 10 minutes ago, so you should be aware of that. If there's anything you want me to pull out of that, I probably should have noticed. I think we're in good shape.
All right.
So, hey, you're gonna go, dude. I checked the schedule last time I talked to you. I won't be in town for any Dodger games. You're going on the 3rd, I guess, right, to see the Yankees?
The second, yeah.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah, I can't wait.
That's really cool.
I can't wait. And I'm wearing Derek Richards from Detroit?
Yes, I know him pretty well, actually.
Derek got me, dude, like 15 years ago, he got me a Mickey Mantle jersey, and I have never taken it out of the package. And I'm going to wear it with my Yankee cap at Dodger Stadium.
Wow.
I know, I'm taking a chance I'm going to get stabbed, but
yeah, you might get some red.
I gotta support.
You get support.
I gotta support my original team. I was raised. My father was a big sports fan, not so much an American sports fan. He grew up in Italy playing soccer, but he always instilled in me to root for your home team.
Right.
So when I was in New York, I was a Giants and a Yankees fan and a Rangers fan. And I hated kids that were in my class that loved the Sox and the Patriots. I was like, guys, you have 3 choices.
Yeah.
You got the Jets, you got the Bills, you got the Giants, and you go for the fucking Patriots. Yeah. Same thing with baseball. You got Mets, you got the Yankees, and you go for the Red Sox. I don't understand the logic. So when I moved here, I wanted to. I had only been to like maybe 5 or 6 Yankee games in the Bronx, and in the original ballpark. And when I came here, I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm 20 minutes from a freaking Major League Baseball game. I'm gonna go start supporting the Dodgers. They were originally in Brooklyn, which I lived for a short period of time. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to the Dodger games, and then I thought you were a Yankee fan. I'm like, relax, for God's sakes. People take sports too goddamn serious.
Dude, I know that. Those sports, and that's another thing. Once they're like politics are like that. They have somehow made a way to make politics sports where you cheer for a politician. It's the same thing. They get so animate behind their support. Or look at the Roll Tide thing. How many people lose their mind over Roll Tide? And I grew up in Chicago, so it was always Cubs Sox. So it was one or the other. But then when I came out here, I love going to Dodger games. It's a great ballpark. I love baseball, period. I just love to go.
Well, that's my whole thing. I love the sport. So, if I lived closer to Disneyland, I'd be going to the Angels games.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, but I love. There's something about a day in the ballpark, man. That's just awesome. Yeah, I go all the time. Like if I go to whenever I go to the Dodgers, I'll take Lily likes the Dodgers, so I'll bring her to the game. And sometimes I don't care, man. I just like. I'm almost bummed they instituted a clock. Like I liked when games took a while.
Explain the clock to me. It's literally like a play clock.
It's a pitch clock. You have you have like 30 seconds to pitch the ball. And I think a batter has 10 seconds to set in the box. Something I don't know the exact numbers, but the deal is this. You've got to be set in the box, ready to go after within 10 seconds. And the pitcher then has to throw the ball within 30 seconds. And if you're not in the box in 10, you get a strike called against you. And if the pitcher doesn't pitch in time, you get a ball called against you. So it's like a shot clock. It's just similar to a shot clock. So,
but does that include checking first base?
Yeah, that's the thing now. And I think you can only go to first base so many times. Oh, the rule's different when there's a guy on first. It's a little confusing. But
that's what I'm saying. I haven't really paid attention to it in the ball games that I watched this season. And I've really never fully gotten into the details of the new rule because it doesn't affect me. I still watch the game. Like I see him calling shit when I'm watching.
Right.
I watched a Mets game recently where people were going insane over the bad call, but
right.
It's kind of like offsides in hockey. Sometimes I'm like, wait, where's the offsides?
Right.
Soccer, I understand 1,000%. Hockey, I'm like, I don't get it. Where's the offsides?
Well, hockey's only confusing because you can have half your body over the line. You know what I mean? Like you could actually skate that line and not be offsides. But if you lift your skate, then that's considered an offside.
Correct.
So, right. But the baseball, here's where you notice the difference. Because it's taking away from the amount of time that guys are being held on first base. So steals are up a lot. Like, you know what I mean? So you'll see a lot more steals in the game than you have in the last few years. And it's already shown up. And I knew the second I saw the rule, I was like, oh, the guys are going to steal more. Because you get to a certain point where you can't go to first anymore. You know what I mean? And then
shit! So once they've excised the number of times they've gone there, they know they're free.
Yeah, which is almost
interesting.
It's kind of a disadvantage to the pitcher, a huge one, I think, and a huge advantage to a guy that's got some speed over there. But now you're smarter about how often you throw over there. Like I guess you don't throw over there 20 times. Like I've seen games where they do that. I get it.
I know.
But now you're smarter. If there's a guy over there with real speed, you're like, well, I'm not going to throw over there at all, but I'm going to make sure I look. So that he knows I'm aware and I have a throw in my hand. You know what I mean? I have one to use. But if you're ever in a situation where you have no throws, you're going to be screwed against a guy with wheels. He's just going to take off. So, but one thing it has done is sped the game up. Games are about 25 minutes faster than they have been in past. And personally, I like a long baseball game. I'm fine with sitting in a ballpark for 3 hours.
I don't mind 3 hours. I don't mind 4 hours, but watching it on TV at home, it's not as enjoyable as in the park. So I'm appreciative of the new rule, watching the ball game at home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I tend to nod off every once in a while if I'm sitting in my comfortable chair and watching a ball.
I jumped to that. Lose a couple innings. You wake up like, what?
Grand slam. What? Aaron Judge did what?
Oh, I can't believe. Yeah, now you got that rewind button though. You just a little. You go back now because I got that MLB or whatever.
Right. Well, cool, man.
So what else is going on, man?
I taped one of those open bars comedy specials down at McCurdy's.
How was that, man?
I loved it. What they've been doing with other comics is they'll bring in 3 headliners on a Tuesday night, which is an off night, and they will each tape 30 minutes, and so they don't have to really chop it up. But what I did was I was already scheduled to work at McCurdy's in Sarasota that particular weekend. And Ron Feingold called me and said, "Hey, look, I see you're at McCurdy's. Do you want to tape a open bar comedy special?" I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" So what they do is they have, I think they use McCurdy's already existing system that they have up in the ceiling. That they have 3 cameras, and then they put up a GoPro behind you, and they just have a switcher, and they go from camera to camera to camera to camera. I don't think the audience is mic'd, which I wish they were, but you can go to Open Bar's Instagram page and their Facebook page. You can see the footage. It's still pretty decent as far as the audio on the audience, which you and I both know is very important to a comedy taping. I mean, you got it. You know, I can't tell you how many times I just did. I did a comedy taping. Did I lose you?
No, I'm here. I was giving you a moment. Your solo shot. I'm cutting back and forth here, John. It's very high tech. I don't have to explain it to you.
Sorry, my Adobe Acrobat reader just chose to freaking update. I'm like, who knew that was a thing? I don't have AOL anymore. What do you do with Acrobat Adobe Reader?
I don't know. I'm waiting to hear the
You've got mail. Remember that glorious sound? You've got mail.
This is cool. I'm so glad they don't have that sound anymore. I'd go crazy. You know what I mean? With all the junk mail you get all day long. Oh my God.
I still make it every time I turn on my computer. I still make the noise just so just for nostalgia.
Oh, sure. Just to remember. That's good.
When I go to the mailbox, I walk in the house, and if my wife gets letters, I just hand it to her and go, "You've got mail." I get it.
Stop it. That's funny. I do it to my daughters, and then I have to explain it to them. And then they stare at me and go, "Stop. Just stop."
See, the modems used to be this big, and you used to crank them.
I showed him one of the old. I can't remember where we were when I saw one of the old cell phones, the first cell phones that came out, the ones that look like you're like radioing in an airstrike. Remember?
Yeah,
the old
yeah. Dude, I will never forget being in upstate New York, where I'm originally from, with my Cellular One bag phone, and it was sitting in the baby seat of my grocery cart. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm walking down the aisle, and everybody's looking at me like, "What is that thing?" I'm like, I'm in the frozen foods. The frozen foods. I'm playing with the antenna.
You were that asshole years ago that's always loud on the phone, walking around going, the deal should be done by Thursday. Well, I talked to Spielberg. You know, they start throwing names around. I don't know. I'm sure you talked to Spielberg. Screaming. That's hilarious.
And that phone call was $98.
Yeah, it was ridiculously expensive. I used to carry when I was living on the road, I had a pager, and I had one of those phones. And I would get a page, and depending on who the page was from, I also had a calling card, which was cheaper. It was only like 10 cents a minute or whatever. Yeah. So I would always stop and use a payphone unless it was really important. You know, I'll be with my brothers. Like, we should just use the cell phone. I'm like, we're not using the cell phone. This is not a cell phone page. This is not important enough for me to drop $55. Like, if it was like an agent or a club, I always call back right away. You know what I mean? But always carry both with me, but barely use the cell phone.
There was a gig in Wildwood, New Jersey I used to do every summer, and I remember having that freaking calling card. And when I'd get a page for a stand-up gig, I'd have to put on clothes, walk downstairs 3 flights of stairs to the corner of the intersection to the payphone, and get my AT&T calling card out.
Yeah.
And you're dialing 90 numbers. You have to dial the AT from and to. Love always. Boop boop beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop beep boop 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 beep boop boop.
Sucked it.
And then I'll take the gig. Click.
Did it suck during the winter when you would hit a number the wrong way and they would go incorrect? 33444477955. It'd be amazing how you'd have that number memorized. It was like a 25-digit number or whatever, but you always had it, you knew it because you hit it so many times.
Absolutely.
So hilarious.
I have a joke in my act where I'm talking about modern technology, and the joke is so outdated. We don't even have speed dial anymore.
Yeah,
that's how old the joke is. Right. So I say I checked into when I got to the ship, they asked me for my wife's emergency contact number. I told them 2. I just pressed 2. 2 should work. And it's like, who's got speed dial anymore? You got to get rid of it.
You do. I've had. That's great. When a joke you written was created and died during your career time. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like when you started doing stand up, that joke made no sense, and now it makes no sense. It actually had a life of its own, and now it's completely gone. I can remember that. I remember having the 10 digits or the 1 through 0. The speed dial, same thing. But that's hilarious. And now it's come and gone.
And if you got in a fight with somebody, you had to pull the little slip of paper out and erase it, and then put a new name on the paper and slip it back in.
I used whiteout. I always used whiteout. Fuck that. Screw him. I'm never calling him again. There's no way.
And fire and poison control were always the first 2, and I never used those fucking numbers ever.
Pointless. Who cares? No one's calling that. Oh, man, I'm trying to think what else. There's a couple other jokes I wrote that are obsolete now. I got a bunch of jokes. It's good that you're aware of it. I hate to see a guy tell a joke on stage that's obsolete, and you want to go, dude, that's obsolete. That joke has been outdated for 12 years.
Yeah. Well, until my UPS and FedEx guy don't show up to my house with a big Julie from Time Life Bluetooth headset, I'm still doing that bit until I fucking die.
Sometimes they're good for a reference fact. You know, because people will laugh at a reference. Like there's a joke. When I do the ship thing, I talk about doing cruises, and it always gets a laugh. I go, I've done all kinds of cruises. I've done a 10-day, I did a 5-day. I once did a 3-hour tour, and it always gets a laugh. And then I explain it to someone in the front, like a young kid. I go, that's a Gilligan joke. You have no idea what that joke means. But I'll keep it because it always still manages to get a laugh from half the room. You know what I mean? It's like half the people still get it works.
Well, it's like my Katharine Hepburn impression. It's literally for 20 people out of a room of 300. You know, people leave my show going, you know that only 10 of us got it. I'm like, that's who it's for. It's for you 10. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
I love those happy accidents I posted something, I think, the beginning of last week because something happened off the cuff. I made a mistake, and a line I came out with got a big laugh. And then I used it 4 more times throughout the week because we had to repeat shows on Celebration. And it worked every single time. I was so tired. I flew from L.A. to Houston to Cozumel, and had 4 shows that night. Ugh. And people don't understand that that's, part of our world, I'm not saying that, when we're doing a land gig that it works out that way, but a lot of times, I would say more than 50% of the time when we're flying for these ships, we're flying to a different country, and us being way out in LA, if we're going anywhere in Europe or on the East Coast, we're leaving at 10 or 11 at night here.
Right.
And then once we get to the ship, we got paperwork, and we got to see the safety guy, and then we have this and that and the other thing, and then your first show is like 6:30. There's no time to close your eyes.
Yeah.
And I literally had a 6:45, 7:45, 8:45, and 9:45 show that night.
I hate that.
I said, I'm talking about COVID and how everybody's susceptible to COVID. And I said, I don't care who you voted for, what religion you are, or what race you practice. And I heard about 20 people going, race you practice? What I meant to say was
religion,
who you voted for, what religion you are, or what race you are, and what religion you practice. But I flipped it, and 20 people caught the mistake, and I went with it. I said, yeah, that's what I meant to say. I meant to say that. What race you practice. I said, I saw on the news that you can be anything you want now. Boys can be girls. Girls can be boys. I identify as a middle-aged black lady because those are the bitches that are having the most fun on this fucking ship. I said, so that's who I want to be because they're the coolest. And then they're like, yay. So every show I switched it, and it's fucking gold every show, man.
That's great when you accidentally fall into a joke.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, man, that's the best.
And I love the crowds that are so so open, where they, A, sense that you're experimenting and improving and having fun, and B, just allowing you to stretch your wings and stuff. Like, I like to have a plan when I go up there, obviously. I have bullet points, and I have certain set bits, but I don't want to mention any names, but you and I both know a couple of guys that just go joke 1, joke 2, joke 3, joke 4. And if somebody shouts shit out, they either ignore it or they rewind and start back at joke 3 so they can get to 4 and 5. Right. I love going in a tangent. You know, the idea is to entertain them, period. I mean, it doesn't have to be a joke you wrote down on a piece of paper. If they're laughing, you're still doing your job.
Right. Plus, a big part of it is they have fun if you have fun. You know, like you don't understand when you perform as many shows as we do. At some point, you're like, your act. Like, I know my jokes, so I work the crowd as much as I possibly can. If I see something, I can play with it. I'll run with it as much as possible. And the crowd's like, we'll talk afterwards. People are like, I love when you do that. I go, I love when I do that because it just breaks things up a little bit.
Yeah, and it saves material for the next show.
Right.
It's less planned material you got to do now. I don't like. I'm not a big fan of the guys that go into the crowd and what's your name and what do you do.
Right.
I look at that as it's a different style. I don't want to poo-poo it. It's not my favorite thing. Right. But when it happens organically, man, there's nothing like it. There's just nothing like it.
No, it's great because then they're kind of in, especially on a ship, I think, because they'll see you throughout the week usually. So, like, if you do something on Monday and then you see the same people on Thursday night on the show, they're almost in on what you're doing. Now you know what I mean? They kind of like the wall's been broken and they're kind of in on the fact that you're going to have fun. And that makes it even more fun, I think, because in 7 days the crowd gets to know you even more.
I agree, and I'm happy when your shows are spread out over 3 or 4 days as well, right? Because they learn your personality. They come back and if they dig you on the first night or second night or both, they're going to come to 3 and 4 and the 5th day.
Yeah, I'm like that. I'm not a big fan of the 4 and 5 shows in one day thing idea.
I'm not huge with it, but I'm not a fan of the ships that are doing that when you do all 5 different shows in one day and you're done.
Right.
It doesn't give you a chance to build the audience. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I like building it up through the week. They see it up on Lido. Hey, you got one tonight? Yep, tonight at 7:30. Last one.
Plus, I'm not a big fan of doing 5 shows in a night. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to be a baby.
Oh God, yeah.
And I mean, I get that we're talking, and people will be like, "You're just talking for 30 minutes." And on some level, they're right, but on another, they're not, because it's draining. 5 shows in one night it's mentally draining, and you're like me. You're a little more animated and a little more. You know what I mean? You're not just you don't just speak. You move around a little bit. You know what I mean? You got kind of
move around, and
have
vocally,
an energy factor.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, right. So 5 shows. Like, first time I did it, I go, this will be great. And then afterwards, I was done, and everyone's like, do you want to go to the crew bar? And I'm like, no. I want to go to bed. I don't want to do nothing.
I've got my pajamas on under these pants.
I'll be lucky to get these pants off. I'm going to sleep in this tie and wake up tomorrow morning. And they'll be like, were you out all night?
I'm washing my face with this tie.
No, I went right to bed and just slept in these clothes.
Hell, Hell
But
yeah.
But yeah, also I got to be careful with. I tend to, yeah, you'll know this more than other guys will. I have to be careful with my vocal cords because the way when I'm high energy, I can play my chords a little heavy. So I got to come from the diaphragm a lot. You know, you as a voice guy, you totally understand that because I'll notice after 3 or 4 shows, I'm getting a little hoarse. I'm not talking right. It's just I'm not distributing my air correctly. Yeah.
On my first night on any ship or a club, I have to have monitors. I have to have.
Yeah, it's a
monitors.
big difference, right? Yeah, because otherwise
Night
I put too
and
much
day.
energy in. Yeah, otherwise, and I have it's a double-edged sword for me because being from Chicago, we have a tendency to talk through our nasal passages. So that's why a lot of Chicago guys they talk up here, and you get a lot of that because we're putting the pressures coming through our nasal passages. So if I'm on stage and I'm not distributing my air correctly and breathing correctly, all the pressure is going up into my nasal passage, coming out through my nose, and causing just a massive headache. By the second show, I'm like, oh, my head is killing me. And I'm like, oh, I'm pushing my nose, or I'm pushing my air through my nose, is what I'm doing. So, and it's just everybody from the Midwest talks that way with that the high tone thing. So if I'm not on top of that, and then I talk loud on stage, it's just too much pressure. And then 4 shows of that, I want to die.
Yeah. Without a doubt. I remember there was a gig in Atlantic City at the Tropicana, the comedy stop at the Trop. And I remember there was like a 7:30, 9:30, and 11:30. And I remember by time at the end of the second one, beginning of the third one, you're like, wait, did I say this already?
Yeah.
Especially if it doesn't get a laugh as big as that you normally get, right? And I'm like, wait, maybe I said this already because you're trying to keep everything in order. And now on the ships now where we're doing 4 and 5, now I don't even have that thought until show 4 or 5. It's so weird the way our brains train ourselves where like I remember doing 2 and 3 thinking that now I'm into the 4 and 5 and I'm like, wait, why I felt like I've done this before. And it's very uncomfortable because you don't feel like breaking that wall and go, hey guys, did I say this already?
I've done that once or twice. Well, you know what happens is like when you're doing the show and then something happens organically and then you go into the crowd, so you break away from a bit. So then later when you're doing that same show, you go, or later when you're doing a second show, wait, did I do that whole bit or did I do half the bit or can I save 2 lines? Like, and all that's going through your head while you're on stage. Going, wait, I think I have 3 jokes I can save from that other bit because I never finished it. Oh, that'll fit perfect here. And then people would be amazed at what goes through your mind sometimes when you're on stage. Oh,
dude, I was just going to say that. People have no idea. If just take a glance at our cheat sheets. Our bullet points.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody would ever, except fans of yours that have seen your show before, they would look at your little bullet point list of bits and go, what the hell does this mean?
This is mine from last night, right here. This is mine from the show the other night. Got one line, witches. Boomer, witches, astrology. Yeah, it's just, I got stacks of notebooks. I pulled up my old notebooks are over here. But yeah, I do an outline for every show. I should do a full outline and then do a short. I call this a short. This is the cheat sheet or whatever. Yeah. And I got them all over the place, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes I never look at them, but I write them down. And the longer, like the newer a bit is, the more it's broken down. Like I'll break down the whole thing. That's like Witches now is like a 6-joke bit. It's you know, it's a bunch of Before it was do the beat about this and the candles and the
right.
And the more you get more familiar with the bit, the more it just turns into one word. But I've worked the other way around where I've seen an old notebook and I'm like, what is boomerang? Shit. I can't remember what boomerang is. So you start going through old recordings and you're listening to stuff. And you're like,
I have a fan.
The thing of Malibu, I got it.
I have a fan up in Valencia, Santa Clarita. Love her to death. She's been coming to my show since Randy's original Marie Callender's gig there.
Oh, the Pie House, yeah.
Right. And she has my first CD, which I don't know if I even have anymore. But it was one of those ones where you would burn them on your PC and then stamp them with the sticker and next. And you buy the jewel cases over at Staples.
Yeah, the jewel cases. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to order them in bulk. I used to order a case of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember when we all came back to work after being out of work for 520 days. I was in Alaska with three. They were booking 4 of us at a time. Remember, they weren't flying us in and out. We'd do the, 2 guys would be off at the beginning and 2 guys would be off at the end.
Right.
And I remember getting up to, because I do 5 different 30-minute shows. I remember about to do my number 5 show. And I'm like, oh, shit. I don't know how. I don't know what order any of this shit goes. I don't know how I got from here to there. I had to text her. She came and saw me. I was up at JR's at Mimi's last week.
Okay.
And I had to send a message to her on Facebook Messenger. I said, Rosie, I need you to play my first CD on Facebook Messenger so I can see how my joke goes.
Oh, dude, are you serious? That's hilarious.
But you know what the scariest part was? She's like, maybe 4 seconds later. Okay, got it. Which track do you need? I'm like, wait. wait a minute. Do you sleep with this under your pillow?
How accessible is my material to you?
It literally was less than tech. Okay, got it. Which track? I didn't even know what track to tell her.
The only thing funnier would have been if she would have started reciting it back to you immediately.
Okay, and then you could hear somebody in the audience go, and then what you said was, wait, what?
Wait, what?
So I have about 10 audio tracks from her with my first CD so I could get the material down. And as I was listening to the tracks, I was transcribing it.
Oh, that's great.
Because we were out of work for so long, and those bits had some years on them. And I was like, I don't even know how these go.
Dude, I had one bit right toward the end of the shutdown. I was doing a Zoom show for my followers and Patreon. I used to do this thing where I do a stand-up show. And I was getting ready to go back on the road, and I go, hey, I'm going to do a full show. I'm going to run the material by you. Let's do this. And I forgot one of the bit about talking to my kids about oral sex, this conversation I had with my daughters. And I go, I screwed up the line. And literally, I turned on the audio, and the people from the Zoom were telling me back how it went. Oh, and then you did you first Lily says this, and then Anna says that, and then oh yeah. So they're telling me how to do my act on the Zoom while I'm trying to run material by them, so they can remember it.
Isn't that funny?
God,
that's so
hilarious.
funny.
But it was hard to remember that. I remember that going back out. That brought me back to the old days of when I first moved to L.A., and I was mainly just acting, and I would go out on the road maybe 3 times a year, and I have to remember all my act. Like, oh, shit, I got to get my act together, as opposed to now that we're doing our act, 10 times a week or whatever, or 20 times a week.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I mean, for the first 10 years before I started doing ships in 2010, my first 10 years here, I was doing audience warm-up and animation voiceover, and I was on the road, like you said, less than 5 times a year. And
right.
Then when I would get in a club, I'm like, oh, shit, I forgot how all this stuff goes.
Yeah, it's funny. It always took me about 3 shows to really get it some sort of rhythm, and by the 4th show, I felt pretty good,
Yeah.
Like, usually when I went on the road like that. It's funny when I think back about that now, because every time you go somewhere now, you're primed. You know what I mean? You're so in touch with all your act, and you know what I mean? You know what's going on, and your instincts, your stage instincts are good. Like even right. the crowd reference stuff is stuff that you do. You'll pick up something quicker and respond to it if you've been working a lot than if you haven't been working a lot. You know
Absolutely.
What I mean? Because you're just more in touch with what's going on. And besides the fact you're way more comfortable on stage. Like nothing can really throw you. You're like, all right, whatever. And if something does throw you, you just go with it. It's not like, oh shit, I forgot my act. You just kind of roll with it.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's a science, without a doubt. People think we just show up and go through our skit. It's so much more than that, man. So much more than that.
And it's so much more. I always say, like, the comedy doesn't live on the stage. Do you know what I mean by that? What I mean by that is like people think you just go up there and you're funny for an hour and it's great. And I go, it's not like you just walk on that stage and you automatically have an hour of material that you can spew out of your mouth. You know,
Right.
It's years of writing it and developing it and doing all this other stuff. And
Yeah.
you know, so Billy D. Washington tells a great story about he was like something happened on a ship once and there was a weather issue and they couldn't have the dancers go up and do the show, so they asked Billy to do the show in the theater. So he goes up and he does the theater, does like 45 minutes, one show in the theater, and he gets off and they were all like, "Wow, that's great, man. That's really impressive, isn't it? You think that?" He's like, "Yeah, that's what I do. That's pretty much my job. I go up on stage and I tell jokes for 45 minutes. So when people are surprised that one comic can do a show for 45 minutes and they're just like, "Wow, you killed." You're like, "Yeah, that's pretty much you can't not kill, by the way. You know what I mean? You can't not do well because you don't keep working."
Yeah. You if you work hard and there's I get the feeling sometimes, I don't know if you encounter these guys that are literally uh they're like I have people in my life that they get a job and they stay at that job forever. They're so unhappy and they hate the gig, but they just not lazy, but they just don't want the inconvenience of finding another job, being trained, learning another job, and you know, starting over. And a lot of these guys that we work with, they're like I love sitting down during the day with a cup of coffee on a ship or in a club in my hotel or whatever and flushing out a new piece.
Right.
Some guys don't have that drive anymore and they rest on stuff they've had in their show forever. Right. Now, that's not saying I don't have shit in my show from 20 years ago, but I love when I come up with a new 60 seconds or 90 seconds or 5 minutes. I mean, it's right. And it's very easy to do if you love what we do. Now, a lot of guys love the laughter and the pat on the back and the paycheck, but I still love the craft. Like, yeah. I just worked with Jeff Shaw, and Jeff is such a great guy to talk about the science of what we do.
He's a great craft guy. He's like one of the
best.
Yeah,
and I still love the psychology, and like I used a number in this joke. I used 2000, I used 1750 for years. I used 1750, and I'm like, that's funny. Why are people not laughing at that? And then I changed the number from 1500 from 1750 to 1500, then to 1400. When I landed on 1300, and the joke is not important. My point is that words and phrasing and pauses mean everything. It could make or break a bit of material. And when I went to 1300, it gets a laugh every single night. And it's not a funny word. It's not funnier than 1750. And I don't question it. But I'm keeping 1300 because it gets a laugh every single night I deliver that joke. And I have no explanation for it. And that's what I love.
Yeah, it's inflection Chris Rock is a big believer in that. Like he talks about pause, and Seinfeld too, for that matter. Pauses and slowness is really important to a joke, and a pause at the right time will set up a punchline the right way. It'll give an audience time to, because first of all, as comics, and not to say because I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I think most comics are pretty intelligent, and our minds move at a different pace, I think, than everyone else's does. So when we tell a joke, we're automatically 4 steps ahead of the audience anyway. So we think in our mind we don't want to give away the punchline, but more times than not, there's no way you can give away the punchline because you're already way ahead of them. So pausing and giving them time to catch up to you works in your favor because then they can laugh at real time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, because in that way they're catching up to you because you're thinking we're so far ahead of them that you got to slow down and let them catch up. And there's and even one of the jokes I just changed inflection on one line that gets a line. I do a joke about my daughters and their phones. I go, when they turn 13, we're talking about devices. You've seen that bit before. Where I go, it's all about when they're kids, they want toys. When they're kids, the teenagers, it's iPads and iPhones, and I can't afford them. And if I pause before can't afford them, it gets a huge laugh. It gets a way bigger. Like I just started doing this like a few weeks ago. It was just a quick where iPhones, iPads, and I can't afford them, and it just automatically gets a bigger laugh. And it's just a pause. It's like half a beat, you know. And
Isn't that funny?
yeah, and it's just the same line. It's the same line. That joke has been written years ago, dude. That's on the album, 5-10 years ago maybe. But I just changed that one inflection on an old joke, and it gets a huge laugh. And I'm like, oh my God. It gets a laugh where I don't expect it. Like, whoa, oh, that's another laugh. That's almost like better. It's just as good as writing a new joke. Is getting another laugh out of an old joke somewhere where you didn't get it before.
Rosie, how many seconds does he wait before the I can't afford him? 2.5.
I
Two
gotta
and a
go.
half.
I gotta go.
Lenny, it's 2.5. 2.5 seconds.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rosie. I owe you.
Years ago, she showed up at Marie Callender's years ago, and she says, when I got off stage, she says, you didn't do the skydiving bit. It's my favorite bit. And I'm like, it's long gone. It's on your CD. I go, I don't even know how it goes anymore. Well, it's on your CD. You need to do it. And I go, all right, but I'm going to have to. She says, listen, next time you're here, you know I'm going to be here. Play your CD on the way to the club so you can do your skydiving bit. I'm
Dude,
like,
that's
okay.
a fan. That's a
I'm
fan.
telling you, I adore her, and I'm telling you, I would not have gotten through that Alaska cruise if she didn't have that CD at the ready.
That's the best.
Have you been up to Alaska yet this season or no?
No, I'm heading up soon though. I'm going. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm mid-June. I start heading up.
Yeah, I got a bunch of. In fact, I just booked the flights today. I got after the Mardi Gras. I'm in late June. So late June, I got Princess, and then I got, and then I come back to the Panorama, and then I do the Alaska the rest of the season.
Yeah, I got a lot of Alaska, and the fun thing that.
And my Alaska's on other lines too. I'm not doing any Carnival Alaska.
Oh well, hopefully I'll see you up there because I'll have a lot of, which I've never done. It's usually prior to this year. It's always been like. You go into Juneau, you fly out of Skagway / Juneau, right?
Right.
Over to Seattle and down. But this year, I'm on one ship, and then I get off that ship in Juneau and walk over to another ship.
Yeah, they're doing that with a few people. I heard about that. Isn't that the Spirit and the?
Yeah, I'm doing it like the Luminosa. I'm doing it like 5 times this.
That's smart,
summer.
Man. That's how they used to do
it.
In the old,
Is.
I heard they used to do that in the old way. I used to talk to comics that they stayed at a hotel in Juneau pretty much the whole summer, and they just went from one ship to another. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Well, then I'll check ports because all the ones I do are the Seattle, San Francisco to and froms. You know what I mean? So then I have whole days in Juneaus to kill. So.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So that'll be cool.
We'll have some king crab at Tracy's.
Oh, God, I love Alaska. I love that cruise. I love that run.
I do. And last year, I don't think I did it more than 2 or 3 times for some reason. It was a slow Alaska season for me. But the year before was like, it was like 2 years after COVID, and I'm finally back, and I can get my salmon in a foil pouch. Yeah. That stays on your shelf for 5 years.
Yeah.
And I remember we went to Ketchikan and it was pouring, and my buddy Merle, he went out into the port with somebody that I don't necessarily get along with, and I'm like, nah, I'll be here 3 more cruises, and it was like early COVID. And the rest of the time I was there, they said, no crew off in any ports. I'm like,
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to getting some salmon this year. That's for sure.
Yeah, I love it, man. I can't wait. I did last season and the season before. I spent my whole summer up there. It was just all summer. I loved it.
Yeah,
it's the best. It's such a laid back cruise, and God's great places to eat up there. And I love that long day on these other lines. I get a long day in Juneau. We were there till 9 or 10 at night sometimes. You got all day in Juneau, man. It's just the best. So
on a nice day, it's great.
Oh, it's beautiful. All right, buddy, let's wrap this up. Let's get out the door.
All right, Pally.
Thank you, man. Thanks for doing this again. I appreciate it. This is nice timing, by the way. That I
Always
can't ever run
fun.
into you on a ship, so we did it this way. So there you go.
Yeah, perfect.
What do you want to plug socially? I got your Insta up there. You got anything else you want to throw?
Johnny D163 on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, John DiCrosta. Yeah, JohnDiCrosta.com. I'm trying my best to update my website as far as my appearances. Keep an eye on that. Just stay patient because my iOS is outdated and I can't get into my GoDaddy right now. So I'm trying to figure out how to update my schedule. Open bar comedy, hopefully within the next 2 weeks. I hate watching myself. And I did 45-minute sets that we got to chop down to like 31, 35 minutes. And so I got to sit down and force myself to sit down and watch those sets. And so on Open Bar Comedy on Instagram and Facebook, that'll be coming out within the next couple weeks.
Nice. Why don't you call Rachel? Maybe she'll know how to get into your iOS or your GoDaddy account. Is that Rachel?
Rachel?
Who's the girl that follows you around?
Rosie?
Rosie. Call Rosie. Maybe she knows how to get into your GoDaddy account.
Oh, here's your website right here. You got to click. You got to see the little thing up on top. Ah!
Oh, man.
I'd go take a shower. Hey, honey, could you hand me a towel? Rosie!
Rosie! Do you want the blue or the fluffy? Do you want the flat
Blue
or
or the fluffy? I know you like the fluffy only when it comes out of the dryer.
It's soft.
Wait,
this one's soft.
what?
This one's soft. You're snorting tonight, Rose. John, turn over. Turn over. Roll over, John, on your other side.
All
right, buddy.
That's funny.
Thanks,
all right, man.
Take
Stay
care.
in
Safe
touch.
travels.
All right, buddy.
Bye. You're still watching? That's amazing. Nobody does that. Nobody, but you did. That means you want more. Pick one of these clips. Go for it. I dare you. Hey, also follow one of those social media thingies.